Geiger, issue number 6. Better late than never, as I've been saying a lot lately on this channel. Been busy, haven't caught up on every book, but Geiger, of course, I'm coming back to talk about this thing because it's really fun. And this issue really felt like it could be the finale. If this was a mini-series, this would be a great place to end the book because it wraps up the stories in a very beautiful way. But it's not the end. Cool. Let's get into what we saw. So we open this with the narration of the man telling the story of Geiger to his friends out there in the middle of the desert. We see history of the war that America has been involved with. We're always been a country at war. Then we see the unseen war in 2025, which leads into the 2030 war of the unknown war. And basically his friends are like, that's really cool, dude. Thanks for giving us a brief lesson on the history of America and why we're terrible. Why don't we jump into what's actually happening with the story you were telling us? And he's like, yeah, sure. So we see that the king is ready to attack and launching his plan against everybody. We go back to NORAD where we see little Henry is really excited for eating his ice cream. He's like, is anybody listening to me? Hello? Like, this is really nice. Thank you. Suddenly, Tariq and Haley bust through the door. They're like, hey, you're sick. We have to get you out of here. We're making sure you're okay, kid. That is our biggest deal here. That's the one thing we are making sure happens with you, kid, that you are okay. So they get the kid out of there. They're on down the hall. Are they going to be able to escape? Who knows? And again, it's really cool. Tariq's just taking the moment to be the father figure. It's like, nothing's going to happen to you, kid. I'm here for you. Me and your sister, we're going to get you out of here. So they're breaking through everything. Barney's attacking some of the guards. It's looking good. The kid who's kind of like interested in helping Haley notices her. And he's like, hey, I know how to get you out of here. They get to the exit. And he's like, look, the rules suck. So good luck and stay safe. As they are about to break out, we see that Bazooka Joe the robot shows up, and this is where we kind of get like the information page on the storytellers and the letters and the colorists and everybody. And it's like Bazooka Joe created by Gary Frank and Jeff Johns, and I'm like, cool. I'm sorry. I was calling him Bazooka Joe just because that's the reference. It is Junkyard Joe. That is the name. I'm sorry. I should have said that earlier. It is Junkyard Joe. I just saw that now. Junkyard Joe. Very cool. So we get an interesting fight against Junkyard Joe and the Glowing Man. They start fighting each other and attacking everything. We see that the robot breaks one of the boron sticks, and it's kind of like hurting Tariq that he can't really like contain himself anymore. He tries burning the robot's skull, but it doesn't do any good. And they just get like a big explosion as he's thrown into like the side of like a gasoline truck. It's really intense, and Haley is just running to try to find the other boron stick so Tariq doesn't, explode and kill everybody in sight. The kids are trying to pull out the stick that's stuck into the ground, and we see that Nick kind of shows out, and he's like, hey, I can help. So he helps. They try to give the stick to Tariq. It's just intense stuff. And I don't have to say how beautiful Gary Frank's artwork is because you guys already know that. It is really cool. It is very solid. It is very good looking. It's just a really, really fun thing to see. Everyone's just watching this like, it's not going well. It's not looking well. Everything is looking destructive. But then we see, in an act of passion, like a father protecting his children, we see Tariq grabs the boron stick. He's like, stay away from my kids. Just bashes it into the chest of Junkyard Joe, takes him down, defeats the robot. And then we see that looks like... oh, this is great. This is classic Jeff Johns right here. Looks like Tariq's about to explode, but Haley steps forward and is like, it's okay. You got this. You're okay. We're a family now. And just calms him down to the point that he doesn't go off and Tariq just comes back to normal, helps everyone. It's very cool. It's very powerful. And it's just a really nice moment. So now they have to head out on their journey and figure everything out. But Tariq still, because he doesn't have his boron sticks anymore, he's kind of losing control of his power to the point where it's not really helping him. And you see he's just slowly losing it. He's probably going to explode if he doesn't get to help soon enough. But they're going to figure it out. It's a great moment. And we just see, okay, so the king catches up to them. And they're just watching it from the sidelines, and all of his like other people that live in Vegas, they're just like, this guy is going to kill us. Why are we even here to help any of this? And we just see that the king sends one of his knights out to fight the Glowing Man, and Tariq just kills them. And then, the pirate and everyone's just like, we should just leave. This is not a good idea. Let's just go. And the king is still pissed, and he wants to come after again and kill Tariq. So we head further north. We headed to the Copper Canyon in Mexico. They get to this base, and we see that Tariq is there. And this person knows him. Her name is Nurse Red. And he's like, look, I got kids in here. They have to get inside. Whatever's about to happen, it's going to happen. Okay? But even the nurse here, she's like, you're helping these kids. Something's changing you, Tariq. He's like, no, it hasn't. Don't worry about me. So he leaves everything behind. You know, he went back home. He was waiting for the king to show up in his castle. It's just like the feuding factions, and we get a beautiful shot where the king is just ready to kill this guy, and Tariq's like, you know what? If this is how it ends, that's how it ends. And we get a beautiful splash page that's just a fluorescent color of greenish, yellowish, pinkish colors, and it's like he found his peace, and he blew everything up, and it's very powerful. We cut back to the future where these guys are talking like, what? He's dead. He just died in the spot we're standing, and now he created this crater. It's like, yep, like Paul Bunyan, Calamity Jane, and John Henry, Tariq Geiger became a legend. A story about the lengths a man went to protect his family. He's like, the kids are alive. They're okay now. They're doing great. The girl was something special, and she was connected to this man, which we see is the kid earlier on in the story, because we saw that Rick earlier on in the book had something attack his eye, and this guy's wearing an eye patch, so we're about to see that maybe that this kid is Rick. Is that what we're saying? Maybe that's what's happening here. It could be. That's an interesting connection to make, but he's like, is that the end of Geiger? Like, that was the end of his story, and then they look off in the distance, there's this like fluorescent light. It's like, oh no, Geiger's story was only beginning. Nothing ends the way it starts and all that stuff. And then we cut back to Las Vegas where everything's having fun, and we see that the queen is the king's mother now. She took over the role, and she's like, yeah, my son was a little bitch. He sucks. He's a terrible bloke. I'm glad he's dead. And if the glowing man's gone for now we can maybe get control of the West. We can finally have everything we want going on here. And some military people show up. It's like, yeah, let's go. We got something in here. We got some pre-war whiskey. Everything's going strong out far north. We're going to take the West because we are Las Vegas, baby. And that's where the first volume, as it says here, the first volume of Geiger ends on this really strong note. Just a great story where Tariq is learning to be that father figure again, protecting these kids in the lengths he'll go to protect his family, destroying the threat of the king. This beautiful story, it's just really intense and fun, and you just see the way he takes down Junkyard Joe and just all this fun stuff. It's a really cool story. Again, if the narration from the people in the future, it makes sense to me. You know, I think that's a very, very cool thing to see. It works really well for what this book is trying to set up, and I'm starting to think that the character that we saw, Rick, at the beginning is the kid, and he's the one in the future who lost his eye. I think that's it. I don't know if that's what the book is saying, but I'm going to assume that's it because we emphasized it a little bit here. And it's just a really fun story, and Geiger continues to be a cool book. So I'm excited to see what's coming next from this storyline, because this world is really fun, and it's such a Jeff Johns world that Las Vegas is the villain, a glowing man can save the day, and the kids are safe. So really cool. Very excited to see what's coming next from Geiger. So, Geiger, issue number 6, I am going to give a 7 out of 10. Now, thank you guys for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, and I will catch you in the next one. Have fun, stay safe, good luck.